Good morning, everyone. It's pretty chilly this morning. It's such a beautiful day, though. It's always a beautiful day. It's always a beautiful day. But especially today, because I'm here right now and the water looks beautiful. The sun coming up, like behind the clouds. It's really nice. I noticed a couple of things this week within myself, and it's mostly about resistance. There's things that stand in the balance, they create resistance, but when you notice the resistance, that's when you slow down. Because most likely you're in too much of a hurry to do it properly, and that's when resistance is created. I noticed this the other day when I was putting my washing out. And it was, all of the clothes were intertwined. One leg was in, one leg was out. One arm was in, one arm was out. This was attached to this was wrapped around that. And I was trying to get a lot of things done in a small amount of time. And it was frustrating me. And I notice when I get frustrated, like I'm super aware of it. And the frustration grows the more things that I try to add into a certain amount of time. And I stopped and I thought, there's so much resistance right now. Take a breath. Do it the way it's meant to be done, and then there'll be less resistance. And I noticed that also with just my general tasks. If I was to say, put something off, that's also creating resistance, because I'm not free-flowingly doing it. And then it becomes a bit of a log up, like a stagnant log up of things that I then need to do in a very short amount of time. And that's when the frustration occurs, which is funny. And even something that my friend was saying the other day was he won't plan anything for work until he gets there and then sees what's available, rather than thinking in his mind, oh, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and when he gets there, the capacity's not there because somebody else might need the tools, or this might be a different, different situation depending on what's available when he gets there. So he says to me, I just turn up and then go with the flow when I get there. And I thought that was really beautiful in terms of releasing the need to organize and control everything. It also releases the resistance against it, which is just another layer to the whole releasing things, because then there's also the why behind it. Well, we already know why, because it's a lot healthier to release things that don't serve us anymore. But also it drops the resistance. It lets the resistance go. And I think that this week has been the first time that I've really noticed resistance in my life. And I know I'll probably say that 100 more times today. But it's the topic of the moment in my brain. It's the topic of my life at the moment. Is to release all resistance in my life and let it flow. Let it flow. I have been in a really good flow state before, and it also depends on where my mindset's at and whatever's happening around me as well. But recently I've been drawn to meditation, and I've been meditating, and if I have spare time, like instead of scrolling on my phone, I will put my headphones on and go into meditation, or I'll go out and sit on the front grass and just sit there into meditation or do some breath work. And that's always so grounding. It just feels, I feel more into my body when then I can also identify different structures in my life, like the resistance that I have allowed into my life by putting things off, waiting for somebody else to do it, and having a not very good attitude towards it. But identifying, like, I'm not even mad at myself. Even though it's a silly thing for me to do and whatever, and I've reverted back to an old pattern, with where my current base level is now, so much higher than it used to be in terms of my frequency and vibration, I can now quickly identify when I'm drifting out of alignment and start putting myself back on track again, and not being mad about it, but identifying the core wound inside. And that's something that I haven't quite gotten into yet with the resistance. You know, actually, now that we're talking about resistance, I'm going to tell you a little story. So in my last video, I was talking about how I've begun surfing and all that fun stuff. And I have been doing really well. Let's be realistic about the whole thing. My overall surf growth has been good. So similar to how Bashar talks about growth, he talks about it as, you know, you might go up and come down, but you never go further than you were before. And then you go back up again, and then you come back down. But it's the flow of life, and the more that you raise your frequency, the higher your base level gets. So anyway, so with the resistance of my surfing, I was out here actually at this particular beach, and I went up to the top where all the local surfers were, you know, that's where the surf break was happening. No one was down here, and I thought, okay, no worries. So I went out, I just thought I'll stay on the shoreline, I'll catch some whitewash in, just have a quick little go at it, and just so that I have the experience of being at this beach. I've already surfed this beach, and then this was just me by myself. So this particular day, it was blowing down the beach, the wind, and there was actually a pretty strong rip current, which I wasn't aware of, but maybe I was just not really looking at it, or not really knowing what to look for, because I'm so new to knowing what's happening in the water. But identifying that there was a rip current, because as I got out there, it just slowly started to pull me out, and I was paddling, and there was so much resistance to get myself, like from the water, to get myself out. And actually, if I had looked at it properly, taken the moment, I would realize that there is a pull into the rocks, and I should go around the rip current, and then it would take me in. If you use the current to your advantage, actually, then yeah, things can be a lot easier. And I learned that the hard way, because I ended up in the middle of the rocks, freaking out, thinking I was going to die, and managed to, in that moment, in my willpower, decide to let go. Instead of trying to fight against the water and freak out and stress myself out and have this high tension, I let it go. I let it go. I drifted over as it pulled me out, and this big wave came and pushed me straight through the middle of these two rocks that were massive. Like I'd cut my hands on the rocks trying to, like, I was stressing out because I was trying to like hold on to the rocks, and maybe that will give me a good spot to like push off and I can be fine again. No, I'll never do that again. Let go of the rocks, let go of everything, let go of the stress. And I just, yeah, this big wave came, pushed me straight through the middle of two rocks. My board didn't get damaged, and I managed to get to the shoreline and get out of the water. And yeah, I really considered what had happened there. And over the last few weeks, it's been not like a talking point, but I've noticed it as a learning curve, a really good learning curve for me, which I've been able to interwork with my lessons in life, like the resistance, like checking the water. It's really important, and seeing how the water flows, because you can actually see it if you're looking for it and you know what to look for. But yeah. Anyway. Also, as a little update, I just wanted to let you know that I bought myself a van. I'm very excited. If anyone that actually knows me, they know that I've wanted a van for like probably over 3 years now. And yeah, I feel really good about it. I've been driving it around, and let me tell you, it's a manual, and I have resisted a manual for 3 years, which is probably a reason why I haven't never gotten a van. So I was in a position to get a van, to get this particular one, being a manual, really good price, really good like kilometers, really good condition. So yeah, I'm really stoked with where I am and the choice that I made to not be afraid of a manual, and I guess lose the resistance to it, because I guess there's been times where I've tried to learn manual and it hasn't gone that well, and I thought that I would still be there, but actually I got into the van, I drove it for the first time the other day with my dad, and it was super easy. And there's things that I need to practice, like stopping on a hill. But for now, I'll avoid the hills. But then, is that avoiding resistance? You know, like, fuck. There's just so much to it. Let it go, let it flow. Let it flow. That's the best. If I could have advice from the spirit guides right now, and they have given me advice, which is to let it go and let it flow and release the existence of resistance. That's what I'm taking from it. And the amount of white feathers that I've seen lately too, it's just beautiful. It's just really beautiful. I'm going to leave it here for now, and in the next video I might talk a little bit more about my van and show you guys what I'm thinking about with it. Alright, I'm going to finish watching these surfers here, and I will talk to you guys on the next video. I love you all so very much, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!